going on, everybody? It is a beautiful spring day here in Central Ohio. Just thought I'd do a quick video to give you a little update on status of the bike. So take you a little quick trip in town. I got to get gas in the old girl. She's ready to rip. Get rolling. Feels good. Everything closed down here so you can hear me. So bike is currently sitting at, pulled out here, exactly, oh not yet, wait for it, exactly 700 miles. And then for those that follow along, I had a little bit of an internal engine failure at 407 miles on the clock. And you can check that video out. Did a little ride on my other bike while this was getting repaired. You should check that video out. I'll put a link in the description. That was a cam chain tensioner failure that resulted in the engine skipping time several teeth at the crank. The dealer performed the repair, new cam chain tensioner, new cam chain guides, and reinstalled everything, oil change, all that good stuff. Scoped the engine, scoped the crank, scoped the head, make sure there was no other damage. They did not find any, so those were the repairs that were did. Got my bike back several weeks ago, and I've managed to put an additional almost 300 miles on it now since repair, and she has been flawless. No issues whatsoever. So I am confident in the bike again. She runs good. So last week I reinstalled all my accessories, all my mods, accessories. I felt confident enough to throw it all back on. And the reason I took the things off was just to rule out any possibility that manufacturer might have wanted to say that my modifications and accessories were the cause of the failure. The dealer knew it wasn't going to be the case, but they just wanted to be sure that the manufacturer themselves weren't going to try to say that. So I uninstalled some mods and accessories just to cover my butt. Took the engine guards off, crash bars, just to make it easier for them to work on things. So last week, everything got put back on. The bike is complete again. I'm running in here right now to put some gas in her because I didn't want to fill up the tank. Before I was confident it wasn't going to need worked on again, because the tank removal is so much easier when there's not almost 6 gallons of gas sitting in there. That's where I'm headed right now. I'm just going to do a quick little loop after I get fuel to go head back to the house. I got to do some other work on other bikes. And after I get fuel here, I'll do a little bit further of a ride, and I will get off the bike and walk around at some point and just show you what she looks like in her current state. But for now, get some fuel in the old girl. Alright, there she is, 5.2 gallons of premium. So she was pretty low. I'd probably ridden, I don't know, 10-15 miles with the low fuel light flashing. No, don't need no toilet paper receipt. Alright. $4.69 for premium here. Like I said, all my accessories and modifications are back on. You guys can go back into my previous videos and see what those all were. I do have a walk around video of all my mods with links in the description. Check that out. The only thing I've done to the bike since my little modification video was I did the ABS bypass switch, which I can show you that right now. So, I don't know if you can see in the camera down here between my leg. I keep my eyes on the road. There's a switch. I flip her off, and you can see right here, ABS light comes on. And obviously I can't show you at 50 miles per hour, lock up the rear wheel, but right now the ABS is disabled. The rear wheel, front wheel, they will lock up if you grab a handful. So, off-road, for off-road reasons, or anytime I feel the need to disable the ABS, click down and kill that switch. I'm going to leave her off for a second here. See if I can, I don't know if you could hear this or not. Rear wheel slid perfectly there. Now if I want to turn it back on, I just reach down, click the switch on, give it a moment. ABS light is now off. I'll do the same test. That time the ABS activated. Simple as that. Disable it and re-enable it while rolling. And it works perfectly. So since my modification video I did that, which there is another video for that as well, go back and check that out. I've installed one of those clear oil filter covers from Nice CNC something or other. It's like basically a Chinese machining website. Situated here, we're going to take a stop. A little bit of scenery in the background. Alright. Like I said, I installed one of those clear oil filter covers. There it is. It's kind of neat. You can see your oil swirling around a little bit while you're running. Matches up to the OEM. Just gives it a different little look. You can see the oil drain out of it as it sits. And the other thing I've done since the mod video is I have put progressive fork springs in. Several videos out there. I don't need to cover all that again. You could Google that. Same as the Gen 2s, probably Gen 1s. You can install those springs with the bike on its side stand. No need for a lift or anything. Just do one at a time. But here she is, fellas. She's all back together. And I know I've mentioned this in other videos. I apologize for my heavy breathing. I have been sick this last week. No COVID, just a head cold. I can't breathe out my nose. But apologize in advance for that. Got my Lex pipe put back on. Happy Trails boxes put back on. T-Rex crash guards put back on. Got my accessory lights put back on. Not sure if I ever really showed those working or not. Turn those on. There you go. Get a look at the accessory lights. This is Knox Lake Dam. They just recently refurbished this dam. Brand new spillway. That used to be a hillside full of trees. Now kids come out here in the wintertime sled ride. It's pretty cool. This lake is, I think, 90 years old, 100 years old, and they just redid the dam the last couple years. But anyway, yeah, everything's back together. She's ready. The only thing I have left, besides the doohickey, not doing that until the warranty is up. The only other thing I have sitting at the house ready to install is some new tires. Now, I did make a decision to go with the Moto's Adventure series tires. Unfortunately, they're sold out everywhere. So until they are available again, I just picked up a cheap set of the Tuss D Sport Adventure tires, which there's some mixed reviews on those, but they were $110 for a set. So even if I absolutely hate them, I'm not out a lot of money. 700 miles on this thing. Look at it. It's over half gone. I'd say within 200-300 miles we'll be on the wear bars on it. That's ridiculous for a stock tire. And I know my handle's open. For you guys that don't know this box latch is just fine with this handle open. And now I don't need to put the key in to open it. I just do that for local riding. Got the thermal bob put back on. And she's set for the word go. There's my thermal bob gauge. Got my tack down there. She runs fine. Don't feel really any difference in the way it runs. If anything, I think it almost runs a little bit quieter than before. I love these progressive springs. I come primarily from a sport bike riding background, sport bike, sport touring. So I'm used to a stiffer suspension. These progressive front springs, while still pretty soft on the top end, if you give her the beans on the brakes, she's got that initial little bit of dive to it, but it doesn't feel like she's going to endo the back wheel off the ground like the old pogo stick springs, the stock ones do. So that was well worth the money. Pick them up for about 110 bucks on Amazon. You can go back to my accessory. Oh, wait a minute, I will have to include a link in the description of this video because I didn't have them on my accessory video. So yeah, Amazon. I cut the spacers to 3.5 inches. I think that'll work fine. That's for your heavier side. I am chickens. I'm a bit of a heavier guy, so went with the heavier side of what they recommend. You could probably put them a little thicker if you like it even stiffer than that. But I think the 3.5 will work just fine. Did not cut the stock spacers. I cut the PVC spacer they offer in the kit. So I want to be able to slap these back on the bike whenever I want, if I decide to sell it or what have you. That is an excellent upgrade. I do have the Top Gun, whatever their heaviest spring is in the rear, 9.4 kilogram per whatever the measurement is. It's pretty stiff. I do have my preload set on 1 while I'm riding around empty. Maybe I should want to step down. Sometimes it feels like this is like the perfect setup, when you're going over whoops, you know, like when the bike just whoop to whoop to whoop, it's got a nice little flowing bounce to it with that stiffer rear spring. But then other times you're going down a road full of potholes, like abrupt potholes, it's a bit harsh. So I don't think I'm going to change it, but if I had to do it all over again, I might have went with the, I guess it would be called the medium spring, or the next step down spring. Just for reference, I am 260-ish without gear on, maybe 270 with gear. I'm tall, so I do sit a little further back in the saddle than most people, which will throw the weight toward the rear of the bike more. But I know I don't regret it. It is way better than the stock. Way better than the stock. So for a $80 upgrade, I'll take that. Just should have put a little more research into it. Maybe went with a step down. But water under the bridge. If I decide to go that route later, it's another $80. No big deal. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. I keep my dampening set on pretty tight. Because like I said, I come from a sport bike background, so I'm used to that. Motor is going to remain stock, other than the Lex pipe, which I love the sound of it. Nice little brap sound without being obnoxious. Even cruising at 4,500 RPM, it's not overly obnoxious. Not doing anything to the intake. Did the thermal bob, so I guess you want to call that an engine modification. I'm not doing any performance modifications. I'll probably have about 3,000 to 4,000 miles on this bike this year, maybe. I would have had more on it by now, but a couple times it's been in the shop. I put a dampener on that, so currently this thing has had 2 oil changes already. The first one was just at, I'm trying to remember, a couple hundred miles, 200-300 miles. I did an oil change on it when I had the cold starting compression issue. I wanted to see if there was any fuel that was getting washed down the cylinder walls from attempting to start it without it actually firing. So I did an oil change then, before that repair. There was a little bit of fuel floating in the oil, but it wasn't terrible, so that was probably in vain, but oil's cheap. Oil insurance made me feel better, knowing what was in there and what wasn't. And the other oil change was done at the repair for the cam chain tensioner. They drained the oil to check for any glitter parties in there. See if there's anything else in the engine or the filter. So they did another change then. So that was at the 407 mile mark. Still running that oil at 700. I think my plan is I'm going to change it again at 900, just so I could check out the filter and the oil post their repair. Plus that'll be about the time I'm going to get ready for a trip. So I will change it at 900. I'm just putting Kawasaki's branded conventional oil in it for now. I'm no machinist or metallurgist or whatever, but I've heard a lot of folks say that during break-in you should run conventional oils. I don't know what the science is behind that, but there's somebody with more brains than me that said that, so I will go that route. And then I'll probably run that oil until about 1,500-1,600 miles. Maybe a little more. Depends on what I see on the next change. And then switch out to a synthetic. I'm not going to debate what oil, what brand. If it's a MA approved motorcycle oil for wet clutches, it's the right grade. Run it. I don't care if you're running diesel oil, racing oil, Motul, Scams oil, or just some Valvoline off the shelf that's made for motorcycles. Run it. Changing oil is more important than what oil you're putting in it. Change it frequently and often. Use the right specs of oil and you'll have a good time. There's been a lot of talk on the forums and the Facebook groups about break-in oil changes. Your break-in service. There was one member that posted a link to the pages on what to check. It's not rocket science if you do your own. It's not going to void your warranty. The only thing I would recommend is save your receipts where you purchased your oil and your filter. Just say, here it is, this is when I did it, date, mark your, maybe you can take a picture or mark your odometer, and you'll be fine. Take your bike in with 1,000 miles on it, even if you can't prove that you already changed the oil in it. These guys are smart enough to know what oil looks like that has a few hundred miles on it or 1,000 miles on it. So you do it yourself. It's pretty simple. Plenty of how-tos online. There's plenty of lists online on what to do during your break-in service. And it's generally check over things. Check chain tension, clutch slack, throttle free play. Put a wrench on about every nut and bolt just to make sure it didn't come loose. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, yeah, pay somebody to do it. Not everybody's mechanically inclined. So, just out here cruising around some county roads around me. There's some dirt around me too, but just wanted to make this video without being on anything too sketchy. These potholes are pretty massive. Got a trip coming up here in the beginning of June. It will be a haul to a location type trip. Don't plan on putting any heavy road miles on it. We'll be going, me and a friend will be going down to the Deals Gap, Tail the Dragon area. We're just going to throw the KLRs in the back of the truck and head down there. It is about 450 miles from us. We're doing it on a long weekend, so not really looking to road trip on the KLR yet. So we're just going to go down there and do some camping and just explore some of the back roads around there. We've had our street bikes down there 100 times. You know, our road bikes, touring bikes. It's not a new area to us, it's just an area we enjoy. But there's always those back roads that we haven't been able to explore on the regular street bikes. So that's why I want to get the KLRs down there. So other than that, I think the old girl's ready to go. I don't even think I'll be running my hard bags for that. Might not even take any bags at all, other than the top case. Said we'll be base camping from the truck, not really moto camping. Place we're staying at, Deals Gap Motorcycle Resort, has shower houses and fire pits and a restaurant, so nothing hardcore, just an inexpensive trip to get us out. I think that's going to do it for the day, guys. Just a video to update you, like I said, on post repair. She's running flawlessly. No surprises. I'm happy. I have confidence in the bike again. Let the good times roll, that's what Kawasaki says. So now that, as you can see, spring is officially here. I think it's supposed to be close to 80 degrees today. I'll get some more of these videos out to y'all. You can listen to me jabber. But until then, guys, be safe. And go find your adventure. Peace. Little bonus footage for y'all on my wife's 2016 Indian Scout. This bike isn't really set up for me. Wife is 5'4". I don't know if you can see my knees up in the tank here, but she hasn't had it out this year. Thought I'd run it in town, put a little fresh gas in it for her, top it off. A little excessive wind noise. Like I said, my bike's not really set up for me. These things are a hoot. I don't know if you guys ever ridden these bikes. Fairly small bike, smaller than I think even the Harley Sportsters. These things kick out 100 horsepower. 1200 cc, 100 horsepower. They're pretty impressive. Do a little 50 roll on 6 gear. 50. There's 80. That was without even shifting down. Do a little shift down here. Part of the shifter. 55. 80. These things will get up and go. It's funny how you ride around KLR for so long. Get used to how plush it is. Climb on a street bike, especially on a road like this. A little more bounce to it. So this is a 2016 ABS model. She's got, I don't remember how to get to the mileage on this thing. 7,100 miles on it. These are cool bikes. They make a 1000cc version with a little less horsepower. But really hard to outgrow these. They're small enough for a beginner bike. Really low seat. Wife actually joked, we picked up a little Honda Grom recently on a bargain. The seat height on this Scout is lower than the Grom. But it is a lot of intimidating power. Missed a gear, went to neutral. I really have to raise my foot up to shift this thing. It is not set up for me at all. 2.5 gallons. Shame on me for leaving it low this winter. She is fun. Wife loves this bike. This was literally her dream bike. Took her a few years to get it. It was back when we didn't have a very good income flow. She's got her now. Well, that's it for the quick trip in town for this girl. Do a little quick walk around of it here before say fare thee well. She's got stage 1 Indian pipes on it. Like I said, they had the stage 1 Indian pipes. She's got the tan Indian saddlebags, Indian crash bars, some Amazon highway pegs, extended shift and brake levers. I have ceramic coated the pipe, the header pipe, as well as DEI heat insulation on it. It's got some Bike Master heated grips, some tassels, some leather grip wraps to match everything else. Indian accessory. The rack is Indian accessory. Do have some LED turn signal bulbs, Viking bag for the rear rack, tool tube, Indian floorboards, Indian heel shifter, Indian windshield bracket with a Freedom Shield windshield, Amazon LED headlight, Commander 2 cruiser tires, progressive front springs, progressive rear springs from a 18 and up. 15, 16, 17 didn't come with the progressive springs. And her little windshield bag, phone mount. It's kind of set up for touring and local riding together. So that's her girl. Just thought I'd give you a quick show of it. KLR, the old Connie, and the Grom. Just picked that thing up for nothing, almost. I stole that thing. That's the reason why it's here. Anyway, later guys. Talk to you later. Be safe.